As soon as she opens her mouth, it's like a plumber's mate. Brilliant. It's every element. You go, this voice of an angel, and then she does an interview, and you go, what?
He has appeared in movies, I didn't know this, opposite trained thespians Anton Deck and Carmen Electra. He won a whopping £82,000 against the Vixen on The Chase, and he's about to embark on his 11th stand-up tour. That is impressive. Please welcome to the show, Jimmy Carr!
Yeah! Hey. Well, it's great to be with you, Roman, Sean, the other one. I think I speak on behalf of the listeners when I say two of you are great, and who's he?
Sonny J, you're winner of Dancing on Ice 2020.
The current holder of the trophy.
Yeah.
You look like a photoshopped me, I think, like if I was like 30 years younger.
Okay.
I'm just jealous.
Well,
it's just jealousy.
Is it the hair?
Yeah, it is the hair. Yeah. And also the grey in the eyebrow.
Oh, you've seen that?
Talk me through the grey in the eye. This is not a great chat for radio, but the grey in the eyebrow. It looks like you're very worried, but just specifically there.
Do you know what? I was actually very insecure about it until you brought it up. I'm joking. But thank you, yeah.
Your name was trending on Twitter. You might have spotted this. Don't know if you saw it. You were trending. Sean Lock was trending. And it turns out it was because of a poll of people saying who are their favourite comedians.
I mean, that is high praise. There's a lot of very funny people out there. It's a lovely thing, though, when people really like your stuff.
Yeah.
You think that thing of, like, if you think I'm funny, you're right. And if you think I'm not funny, you're right. It's your sense of humour.
With Sean, who sadly, did pass this year, we ended up in a wormhole looking at all his old stuff, and we were crying with laughter. But you were a friend of his, obviously. Do you have any standout moments of Sean that you remember? Or
I mean, yeah, it's weeping with laughter. I mean, it's a weird thing where I think Sean was so funny because if Sean had turned... Think about the way that Sean Lott looked, right? If he turned up to fix your boiler, you'd go, yeah, that makes sense. he just looked like a bloke's bloke, right? So, and then he's doing this incredible sort of surreal flight of fancy stuff, and it's coming out of this guy. So everything's like heightened. So it just used to make me cry. And Katz does Countdown. I had to keep tissues under the desk.
Yeah,
Not for Rachel. For the two sets of tissues. So... Because I would literally be weeping with laughter. I mean, he just really...
That's brilliant.
He was beautiful. There's a lovely phrase, like, you die twice. When you die, and the last time someone says your name. And I think there's something about having someone like Sean die where you've got... There's all this kind of... These incredible clips. And it's lovely that people are sharing them. It's lovely to think that he kind of lives on in that and in people's laughter. And there's something to remember him by.
100%. You've got your book out, Before and Laughter. Talk me through it. Obviously, is this a pandemic, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, let's face it, every comedian got a phone call in the beginning of the pandemic saying, look, you can do a podcast, you can write a book, you can't do nothing. We need the money to roll in. You got a tax bill, son. So I wrote the kind of autobiography, and then in doing so, I kind of made it more of a self-help book because I love that stuff, and I'm not a smelly old hippie. I love the self-help stuff, but it's quite earnest. I know you're into that kind of world as well. Your documentary was fantastic.
Thanks, man.
But that thing of like going, I want to talk about that stuff and engage with it, but also I don't want it to be boring. I want everything to be funny in life.
Exactly.
So it's talking about that stuff in quite a funny way. And I figured people would be a little bit interested in my life, but is it going to sustain 300 pages?
Oof.
No. No. It was meant to be, ironic and fun, but I think people... The idea was it's about my life changing. I had a big switch when I was in my mid-20s.
Fine. So if I read it, it won't change my life. It won't give me a nice brown eyebrow.
It might. I mean, you've got one nice brown eyebrow.
Yeah.
It's just what you want is a matching one. That's ideal.
Right.
That'd be the thing, wouldn't it?
Is there anything that you haven't done yet that you're like, I really want to try that?
I did singing recently. Singing's good. I'm on Ed Sheeran's new single.
I heard about this.
We've heard about this. We didn't quite know how this happened. What is the deal with it? How?
He wrote this song called Visiting Hours. An incredibly beautiful song, and I really loved it. I heard it very early on, and I went, I love that song. And so Johnny, who's one of my best mates, Johnny McDade, who used to be in Snow Patrol, now writes with Ed, put me on the backing vocals. So it's just me and Kylie Minogue doing the backing vocals. You and
Kylie?
What?
I didn't know Kylie was on there as well.
Yeah, Kylie's on there as well.
Wait, when you say backing vocals, I want to now re-listen and find you. What are we listening for? Is it a few oohs or is it like an R?
A few oohs. It's a bit more than that. It's the backbone of that song.
Right.
I don't think Ed's new album would have been a hit without me.
Do you know what?
If I'm honest.
You're good at singing, but one thing I know you're definitely good at is roasting.
I do have a certain reputation when it comes to the roast. I did one recently because it was my friend David Williams. It was his 50th. David said, would you make a speech? And I went, okay. You talk about your worst case scenarios at a gig. Elton John goes on.
Oh, no.
Elton John does Tiny Dancer. Right? He does Tiny Dancer, the full version. He's an amazing voice at the moment because he's not worked in 18 months. So his voice is incredible. So he does Tiny Dancer, Rocket Man, Your Song.
Wow.
And then he says like a bunch of funny stuff about David. Like, brilliant. And then at the end of it, someone goes, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Carr. I was going, what? I've got to follow that. And so I had to walk on and roast David Williams, which, I mean, it went pretty well. I said a couple of funny things. He's always impeccably dressed, David Williams. I'm not surprised he spent that long in the closet.
Jimmy, we want to introduce you to the Capital Breakfast Roast Roulette Machine.
Yeah, so on the screen in front of you, you've got a slot machine. So when we tell it to spin, it's going to flick through until it randomly lands on a celebrity's name, okay?
Yeah, and then it's up to you to do something that only you can do, is roast someone until you run out of steam.
Let's give it a spin, please.
Oh, is it going to land on? Wow.
Daniel Craig.
I mean, it's hard to roast your celebrity crush. He's a fine-looking fella in that movie, isn't he?
Yeah.
Although
He is,
I would say, did the Bond producers at any point look at the books and go, how old is Bond?
Yeah.
How old is Bond? It's his last Bond movie. Oh, is it? Is it? Because Q's got to stand a stairlift for him. I found that I watched the new movie. I love the Bond movie so much, but I did find myself watching it and my hamstrings were sore. I can't imagine what his were. I imagine he was like going, no, we need a rewrite on that. He won't jump down from there. No, he'd probably walk up quite slowly. Because he'd want to conserve his energy.
Spin the wheel. Who's it going to land on?
Let's go. Who is it going to land on?
Oh, no.
Nation sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
The thing I love about Adele, not just the music, not just the voice, and the new single's out Friday, right? It's pretty exciting because you know it's going to be good. But here's the thing: when she does PR, when she does any stuff, it's incredible. Because we live in a world of perfection and Instagram, people looking amazing the whole time. And as soon as she opens her mouth, it's like a plumber's mate. Brilliant. It's every element. You go, this voice of an angel, and then she does an interview, and you go, what?
It is incredible.
And now she kind of looks just, what happened?
She looks incredible.
Well, she's had a good lockdown.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is locked down. Everyone else has got a little, I've got to get rid of this.
Exactly. And she's just gone complete opposite way. It's amazing.
I don't know what happened. Maybe Deliveroo don't deliver to her place. Maybe it's hard. It's hard to find her house in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
So she went, well, I guess I'm just going to the gym.
Let's give it one more spin. Let's have a go. Who have we got? Is it going to land? Right. It has landed
Talking of guests on the show.
Oh, yes.
We can't. Oh, no, we can't.
No, I think we can.
Well, no, I wouldn't roast him particularly. I mean, he's a diver.
Yeah.
I mean, Gravity's doing a lot of that work, isn't it? I'm not saying he's not good, but Gravity's doing the heavy lifting there because he's on the high. Have you ever been on one of those boards?
I have. When you're a kid, it is pretty high.
I mean, you know the best way to get down? Back down the steps. If you've got any sense at all, back down the steps.
Yeah.
And obviously the synchronized diving, because it's impressive when he does it, but the synchronized diving takes the edge off for me because you go, yeah, he's good, but that guy's as good. The guy next to him's as good. The Speedos as well.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until this recent Olympics that he was circumcised. He's nowhere to hide. The world is watching. He's incredible, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's got the gold this time round, which was...
Yeah.
I felt like we were kind of on that journey with him as well.
Yeah.
From sort of London through.
Yeah.
And he's had he's been through it as well. He's like properly had a life. When's his biography out? I'll read that.